Hey, this is the Panhandle Prepper again. Same night as this video is the same night as the pressure canning video that I showed a minute ago, and I figured I'd go ahead and talk about something else here as the canner goes and does its thing. So anyway, I want to talk to you here. I'll get my ugly mug out of the way and talking about flour. Now the other night on a video I was talking about how I just lost about 75 pounds of flours due to weevils and bugs and stuff like that, and I was not very happy, so maybe I'm a little gun shy, but here's what I'm going to do for now. Is I went out tonight and I bought about, I don't know, 20 pounds of flours in little 5-pound sacks. Yes, it's more expensive that way, but what I'm doing is it's still part of the learning curve, and what I'm doing is I'm going to leave this one out because we're going to use it, my family and I, and make some gravy from scratch tomorrow night, and it'll be really good with our homemade chicken. But what I'm going to do is I've already got 4 other ones in the freezer, and what I've got is just going to pull them up in a plastic bag like so, and we'll just go ahead and tie a little knot, a real gentle knot like this, and I'm going to stick this bag in the freezer for 2 days. So 5-pound sack of 5-pound sack of flour in the freezer for 2 days. To make sure it kills anything that's in there, any kind of weevils, any kind of little kind of creepy crawlers that may have gotten in there that I didn't know about. And after 2 days, I'll bring her out, set her on the counter, and or I'll set it someplace, maybe in the oven or something, and close it on up or in a microwave, and just let it sit, let it thaw out, and then I'll go ahead and stick it inside of my container here. And then so this is just like a Rubbermaid type container, and this holds 5 pounds. And I bought a bunch of these. I think 4 or 5 of these things I bought. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and store them. And again, I'll run the tape around the edge all the way around. Probably some light masking tape. Seal it real good. And I'll go ahead and date it. Probably on at least 3 sides. Maybe even 4. I don't know. I overkill sometimes. But I bought a bunch of these all at the same time, so we can put them on my storage shelf and have 4 or 5, 6 of these things, however many I've got, to go ahead and store, and at least, and that way I can experiment. And what I may even do is I may even go ahead and try to store some of this other flour up without freezing it, a bag or 2, and that way I can kind of check and see for weevil growth and things like that. But to play it safe, I'm going to go ahead and do this method for a little while and get about maybe 50, 70, or 100 pounds of flour put up that way, where I froze everything first, and then I went and stored it in our Rubbermaid type containers with masking tape and marker. Let's take a quick break. Take a look at my canner there. It's going to town. Alright, you can see that the pressure valve is getting ready to come up. What will happen is within 10 minutes, basically almost exactly at 10 minutes is when that thing will pop up and hold the pressure, and then at that point I'll go ahead and stick my regulator on the other valve, and then I'll start my timer for 25 minutes. So, alright, back over here to our business with this flour. Alright, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the area that I live in is very hot and very humid and a lot of bugs. So I know a lot of people can get away with not freezing any of the flour or anything like that, but I'm going to start freezing them and buying them in smaller increments and freezing them. I mean, I do have a deep freeze where I can stick a big old sack of flour in there, but I'm going to go small scale for a little while. I just work at 5 pounds at a time, catch them on sale, try to get some. I've got this brand here, I think it's Pillsbury, and it's already been sifted, and it already has a nice shelf life of about 2 years already before we go ahead and preserve it for a longer period of time. So that should take care of the weevil problem, the little bug problem, and get us going from there. I want to make sure that I get a good maybe 75, 100 pounds, somewhere in there, of frozen flour that's thawed out and stored properly so that I can count on it. And of course there's no foolproof method. Like I mentioned the other night, you may lose a third of it you may lose. So you have to make sure that you count on that 1/3 principle of losing your food. So there's some food for thought, some things to think about. and then I may try some other methods. Remember, I talked about 3 different ways that you can store food. So what I'll do is I'll try it this way. I'll store it up this way. I'll freeze it. And then another option that you might want to think about is ordering some Mylar bags, some food grade storage bags off the internet. Like there's some good storage out there. There's some stuff like I think MylarDirect.com or whatever there. I got some sites I'll go ahead and give you later on. But the idea is you want to. So the second way that I may go ahead and store up that flour is in a Mylar bag, and I may go ahead and do about a 5-gallon bucket full of it, and I might take that bag and I may seal it lightly at the very top, and then I'll freeze it, and then after it's done frozen, I'll go ahead and cut that seal off, and then I'll seal it properly again with some oxygen absorbers and probably some silica packets. You can use hand warmers too, but we'll go over that again later on. And so I'm probably going to at this point start making sure that I freeze all my flour, just to make sure that we don't have any bug problems. There's a canner there. You can see it. It's doing its thing. As soon as that bit, oh, there it goes. Perfect. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it go ahead and steam. Make sure I get a nice, good, solid, violent steam out of there. And then once the steam builds up pressure for another couple of minutes, I'll go ahead and put my regulator on top of there. It's doing pretty good. So again, I'm not going to stick my hand over that thing without my welding glove on. So there we go. Watch this. Good to go. And now it may take another few minutes. My timer is not going to start until that thing starts rocking properly. And then I'll start that timer. When it starts to rock and I turn my heat down, then I'll go ahead and start my timer on my clock. So, all right. Just one more thing to mention, maybe. I don't have the right seat for this counter. It's kind of goofy going up and down. Sorry about that. But on this prepping thing. Now, I'm a relatively new prepper. I've been doing this thing for 3 years or so, maybe a little less. Serious, but my whole life I've had a lot of experience. Younger, in the Boy Scouts and camping and doing a lot of stuff, high adventure camping, and then in the service and the Marine Corps and stuff, doing a lot of things where you do a lot of survival techniques and stuff like that. So it's been a work in progress, but I've been getting more serious about modern ways of storing up food. But just some food for thought, again, is that back in the Great Depression, you had about 98% of people already self-sufficient, 2% not. And the day that we live in, the age we live in now, you've got about 98–99% of people that just live day to day, paycheck to paycheck. And if we live that way, or if you live that way, I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying that most people in this day and age are not prepared. And they don't have any food storage up at all. So it's the opposite of the Great Depression. Nowadays, if we were to have an economic collapse or a problem like that, or anything, a bad storm in your area, snowstorm, whatever, most people are not going to be prepared for that kind of an event, especially a long-term food storage. Back in the Great Depression years, it was very common for everybody to have 1 to 2 years of food storage on the shelf at any given time. Then they eat off it and they work it out and everything else. Nowadays, you've got 98%, 99% of folks are not prepared at all, and 1 or 2% of people are prepared. So the loss of life back in the Great Depressions was, what was it, 1 million, 2 million, somewhere in there, starved to death. Maybe my numbers aren't right, but I think they are. Imagine what the numbers will be today, if, or I should say when, the economy goes under, like the experts are saying, then it's going to be bad. So now's the time to work your bugs out, so that you can go ahead and have some good solid food storage to bet on. So, all right, that's about it for this video. Hopefully it was a help to you, a blessing to you. And my little rocker there is almost getting ready to start rocking my little weight on my canner. So, all right, well, that's about it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.